Howdy, folks, and welcome to another Thursday edition of our live stream. My name is Alex Aries. I'm the founder of Gameplay Candles. And this evening, DM Steve couldn't make it. He's got some good friends in for the week outside of the D&D circle somehow. I didn't know how that was allowed, but me and my business partner slash wife, or wife slash business partner, let's get those priorities straight, will be chairing this evening's live stream. So she's the real brain power behind all this. She's managing and setting up the stream right now and highlighting, your comments. So without further ado, let's get into our favorite part of this, which is the game. So the discount game works this way. There's a 10% discount already. That's a baseline already active. And we're going to roll this D20 to see what we add to that 10% baseline. So, drum roll, please. A 2. So that makes a 12% discount active now for the next hour at gameplaycandles.com. Use the checkout code ONESHOT. That's all caps, no space, one shot, and a little bit of a clue as to what we'll be talking about tonight. So 12% discount using the code ONESHOT off your entire order over at gameplaycandles.com. So tonight, I mentioned Steve's out. I'm joined by my lovely wife and fabulous business partner, Jessica. How you doing, Jess?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here. It's kind of nerve-wracking, my first live stream with the Gameplay Candles crew.
Yep, and you've displaced me. You're up in the studio, if we can call it that. But I'm here in my workshop, surrounded by my fragrance oils and wax, a sort of behind the scenes tour of Gameplay Candles. But we're going to talk about one shots tonight. But before we get to that fun stuff, Jess, why don't you give us some quick business updates?
Yeah, so we have some summer scent testing going. So for those of y'all who don't know, I'm the person who puts together the first batch of scents. Like I put together the preliminary scents that you all get sent when you're a scent tester. So I concoct those. And if you hate them, you love them. That's the point of having scent testing. We're still looking for scent testers. I love to get your feedback and read it. I'm a marketer by training, so I love feedback. I love to hear what you love, what you hate, if you think it fits the scent. I obviously get a lot of input from Alex and his D&D group, but I want more. I love to hear from y'all. So we have summer scent testing packs that are already prepped and sent out. We're starting to get some of our first initial responses, but if you want to be a scent tester, please, please, please let us know because we want your nose in the game of this. You guys make our products so much better. You give us such great feedback. People write the nicest, but also most amazing comments ever. I've seen things like, that doesn't smell like that scent, or I would add more of this to it. And it really does help the creative process and makes it feel so much more interactive. And we just really love when we get your feedback on the scents. Oh, hi, Caroline. Sorry, I just noticed I'm trying to manage the live stream and manage every other aspect of this. But we really love your feedback and appreciate it. And yeah, so if you want to
more than that, I would say more than that. Yeah, we love your feedback and everything, but we're not expecting you to be 100% altruistic. If you provide your feedback, you're automatically entered into a drawing whereby the winner wins a free jar candle of their picking. So there's something in it for us. There's something in it potentially for you. It's all a risk. It's all a roll of those dice. So if you've gotten some of those scent packs already, don't let them collect dust. Go ahead and smell them, burn them, and let us know with the feedback form. And we'll do that drawing soon.
Well, and you totally get early access to the scents that may or may not become the ones that become the big candles that get actually sold. But it is really fun too, I think, to feel like you're part of creating the scents because we really do listen and read. We had, like, for example, the Candle Palace Garden, some of our scent testers were like, oh, you nailed that one. Other ones, they were like, not so much. So we had to rework them. And we took that feedback into account actually when we reworked the candles that we're launching next Thursday. Spoiler alert. Yeah. I'm moving on to the next topic, maybe a little bit prematurely, but we're launching our spring collection line, which is all based on and is called The Adventure Begins. And it is going to be launching with 3 springtime scents. And the scent we're going to be talking about today is, I think, kind of my favorite because the name of it, it's called Heroine's Realm. Here, let me make myself bigger here. So you, whoops, I picked the wrong person to make big.
Ah!
Okay, let me try to make myself big so y'all can actually see it. Okay. So this one's called Heroine's Realm. And guys, they're seasonal scents, but they still have like the gold interiors, the wooden wicks. They're white. They're very chic. They got this cool shine to them. And this one, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So this is launching Thursday. If you want early access to it, you need to be on our email list because guys, this one I really think is going potentially to sell out because, okay, let me tell you about the scent. First, let me just tell you this. Oh my God, I love this one. So yeah, the notes on it, I actually have a banner that I can put up, but I don't know how to find it quickly because I'm trying to do too many things at once. Okay, so this one has a scent of palm leaves, crisp ocean, a touch of grapefruit. It's mingled with nutmeg, ginger, so a little bit of spice in there. Sea lily, it grounds it really, and it has this like weathered beechwood and vanilla scent. Guys, this is the one when I think of the, like, you know how we all read these like old, I hate to say this, but these old kind of like stories of like King Arthur and like the ones in Future King. At least I read that, and
Traditional and
traditional.
historic.
And there's always, it's like a boy leading it. This is the girl version. Like this is what I think a real heroine would smell like. She'd smell like weathered, but also still nice. So
Yep.
This is Heroine's Realm. And Alex wrote this lovely little story about it. So let me read it for you. Every story has moments of peace and tranquility interspersed within the hero's journey. Bask in a land safe by a warrior queen sworn to defend it, whether it's an entire kingdom, a town with a backdrop of danger, or a single structure providing a beacon of civilization in an inhospitable land. You welcome the chance to rest and recuperate under the watchful eye of the lady sworn to protect those in her care. So that's Heroine's Realm. We're really excited to release that one. And I'm so glad you love the white, Caroline. I love it too. For those of you who like a white aesthetic or a light aesthetic, these are limited edition. So we'll only have them for the collection launches. But yeah, Heroine's Realm, one of my faves. So I'm so excited that it's launching. And so if you want to be part of it, again, if you want early access, please sign up for our email list. It'll launch Wednesday to our email list early, Thursday to everybody else, to the masses. So get on our email list so you can get it.
Yeah, and you can sign up to our email list a couple ways, but I think the easiest would just be to head on over to our website at gameplaycandles.com, and you can take advantage of one of the contact forms or even placing an order, I think, for a tea light sample pack. We have a special going on where you get the tea light sample pack for free in exchange for putting you on our list. And so, yeah, go ahead and do it. You get the rest of our scents and tea light sample forms. So go ahead and check it out.
And Kegs, I think Kegs, is that proper how to say that? But he says this sounds fun and exciting to be a scent tester. It is. It's so fun. You feel so much a part of the process. And maybe I'm a little overexcited about the scent testing because it's my domain, but Heroine's, I don't know. I'm like dropping hints of our next candle we're going to tease next week. But it's really fun to smell them, to give input, to think about this fit the name, and then ultimately come up with like really cool, strong candles that everyone loves and that burn great. So
yeah, great. And then I think the only other business update is pertinent to the local or Central Texas area. We're going to be at ChupacabraCon 9 in San Marcos in early May. Jess, what are the dates for that?
It's May 5th through the 7th. ChupacabraCon is a long time Chupacabra Con, I always forget the con part, is a longtime D&D local event that used to be happening just north of Austin, and they actually just moved it to south of Austin. And it's going to be a conference where there's going to be, games of D&D, lots of cool, like other people like us nerds who like to talk D&D. We'll be there, obviously, talking all about our candles, sharing some early scents for those who are there, as well as previewing some new things that are coming up. And we are going to have some fun swag and things like that. So if you're in the Central Texas area, we'd love to see you. I know Steve is planning on being there. Alex is planning on being there. I'm going to be there at certain points. So you're definitely going to want to come smell the candles in person too and get to like touch and feel them. We're so excited, especially because we'll have by then, like May 5th, 6th, and 7th, the full core collection of ones that we're ready to launch, and the full spring scent ready for y'all, spring selection ready for y'all to check out.
Yeah. And you brought up a good point, Jess. You know how hard it is to like write words to describe a smell? Just come on down and smell them yourself. It's so much easier for all parties involved, I swear. Well, depending on where you're driving from. But yeah, it'd be great.
Well, and it's fun. I mean, you get to have a whole weekend hanging out with people who love to play D&D. It's honestly kind of like the mecca of like things. I love conferences like this because they bring people with true passion together, and then you get to also like check out things that are cool, like our candles.
Yeah, so true. There's a huge community already built in. Okay, I think that's it for business updates. Did I miss something, Jess?
I think you got it all.
Okay, all right. Well, as you may have guessed, then tonight's topic is one-shots. One-shots, for those not in the know, are smaller self-encapsulated adventures. They're designed to be completed in one sitting. That's like one evening's worth of adventure time around the gaming table. I don't know how often that actually happens. I know I struggle with creating one-shots because I just want to make a separate campaign every week. But they're an integral part, really, of the game. If you've been playing for a while, you've probably had a one-shot or two interspersed in with the overarching adventure or campaign that you're doing. Maybe a one-shot was the first time you played. There's reasons for that I'll touch on. But yeah, like I said, designed for a single session, rarely accomplished in a single session.
I feel like they're great for non-committal people like me who can't like get really in love with one character or another. I'm always trying to switch my characters' like personality and stuff and like change them into something that's not even like them. So I feel like they're great for people like me who just can't commit, except to this marriage, babe. Don't worry.
Yeah. No, there's all sorts of commitment jokes that I've filtered out, but thank you. Yeah, I mean, you said it, non-committal folks. It sort of gives players or maybe first-time players who haven't played D&D before a sort of soft entry into, the thing that's going to take over every aspect of their life and being. But I know that for many of the people I've played with, when it was their first time playing, I prefer to introduce them with a one-shot because I was told that the idea of a commitment, a weekly commitment from now until the end of time, is very daunting. And so one shot just like sidesteps all that anxiety. It's a great way to introduce folks to how D&D works. It's low risk, high reward for new players who could eventually join the weekly gaming sessions. In addition to that, it gives experienced players, like you said, Jess, the opportunity to sort of pick different characters or try out different builds. And I know I've taken advantage of this. One of my favorite one-shot characters was a barbarian named Traitu Boulderhide that I've never played a barbarian before, and I absolutely loved him for this one-shot because it was a little combat heavy, but I don't think I would enjoy him in the overarching stories that I've been a part of at gaming tables before.
How do you pick names for these characters?
Oh
like I think that's like a whole live stream or something. Like
it could be a whole live stream, but specifically for Traitu, it's spelled Traytu, but it was named for the printer tray that I was printing his character sheet out of at work. It was Traitu. You had to select that. Otherwise, It's because I didn't select tray 2 and I picked tray 1, and it printed on a tabloid size sheet, which is an 11 by 18 inch sheet of paper, so like a small poster. And so that's kind of more embarrassing to pick up at the printer at work. But yeah, tray 2, not tray 1.
Tray 2. Okay, so it was more like for you to help you be good at your job.
It was a funny little thing that I was like, oh yeah, there's his name right there.
Okay.
But yeah, so great for testing out new characters, but also as a forever DM, I'll tell you, one shots are a great way to avoid DM burnout. They let DMs sort of flex muscles that might have gotten stagnant if they've been adventuring in the same world in the same town with the same NPCs and adventuring party over and over and over again. So it's a great way to keep things fresh and keep things sort of like able to be explored again. But besides that, it's also a great way to have a guest DM come in and like relieve the DM of pressure for a week or two. I like Steve and I have a great system where we sort of swap DM responsibilities every once in a while. Steve's getting ready to wrap up his first D&D campaign, and I'll be taking the reins again for another D&D campaign if folks like Caroline aren't sick of it yet. I'm looking at you, Caroline. But yeah, we have
way to put her on the spot.
yeah, just stay silent. But Steve and I have this great system though, where one of us falls behind a week, then the other guy can step up with a one-shot opportunity, just ready to go. So yeah, really helpful for avoiding D&D burnout. Thank you, Caroline. I see you. Not sick of it. Good. We're keeping it fresh. So let's get into a little more detail here. What should one shots accomplish?
That's what I was going to ask. What the heck? Like, what is the goal of a one shot? Because
well, I think the goal of a one shot could be summed up as a compressed adventure. Well, that's a no brainer, but also not really an answer. I view successful sessions consisting of at least 3 pillars in the D&D adventuring world. Those pillars are social encounters, exploration, and combat. Combat's easy. You can throw together, I think a lot of DMs throw together combat encounters and rely on the players to totally fabricate the exploration part and the social interaction part. You know, you obviously have to come up with some NPCs if they need to get a critical item, or if there are shops in town. If there was a town without NPCs, that'd be bizarre, and it's not something that I'm a big fan of. But a one shot needs to accomplish all 3 of those pillars, and I'd say in good balance with one another.
So social encounters,
social encounters, exploration, and combat.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the 3. That's how I plan out both my individual sessions and the overarching story that I try to tell with my campaigns. For social encounter, now obviously everything is going to be a bit compressed because we're talking one shots. They're designed to be started and finished in one session. So you got to create a story that has stakes, that has conflict and stakes, that gets people involved and has a satisfying resolution, all in, however long you have your session for. I think our current adventuring session typically goes from I think 5:30, but honestly, we don't really start rolling till 6:30 until about 9:30, although we've gone later recently. So that's really compressed. My other D&D groups would go on Friday nights, so it'd go from 6:30 to midnight or 1.
I was going to say, what happens as a DM, because you said sometimes people will just totally not follow what you want them to do,
going off the rails. Planned? Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think with one shots, there's a little bit of an understanding between the DM and the players. It's not quite the same sandbox experience. I hate saying no. I hate restricting players, but thankfully I play with folks who aren't out to embarrass a DM, thank God, but they're out to have a good time. And so with that understanding, there's enough plot hooks that they know who to talk to at the bar. There's some there's some comic out there who had a bit about like, yeah, you walk into the tavern and there's a heavily armored man still wearing his helmet inside with 3 glowing orbs floating around the head of his staff, and he carries a bright silver sword. And it's like, is anybody else in the tavern? It's like, what? Yeah, there's a bunch of farmers. I want to go talk to a farmer. That just doesn't fly in a one shot. There's the expectation that you're all trying to work to have a good time. So,
okay.
Yeah. But okay, so we were on the 3 pillars though of a D&D adventure.
Squirrels is here.
Hey, Squirrel.
He's going to the movie. I hope you're going to the D&D movie.
I wonder. Yeah, we saw it. We went as a group. My D&D group saw it. It's a solid flick. That's what I'll say. So enjoy.
Yeah. He said bet. I guess I bet. Wait, why can't I read? Bet you can guess what I'm going to see.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, when more people have seen it, because it's not really fair because they launched here in Austin, South by Southwest, so we got to see it early. Well, and I don't know if that was just like a thing or something you had with Amazon Prime or something. I'm not sure.
I got very exclusive and elite tickets because I have Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Amazon Prime. Yeah, but we got to see it early, and I would love to hear your thoughts, Squirrels, when you're back, like what you thought of it.
Okay, so let's talk about social encounters first. There's no need to delve into every NPC's backstory with a one shot. You got to keep things simple, keep things flowing and moving. Personally, I like to mix in some exploration here with the social aspect where key NPCs, or sometimes every NPC, will have some little detail that can be uncovered with light conversation. I'm not talking even checks necessarily, but light conversation reveals some detail, and then that can lead the party to putting clues together or putting the pieces together to have the possibility of bartering for better deals in shops, or using persuasion and intimidation checks on key NPCs to get like a favorable outcome. Just something just deeper than surface level conversation. Oh, I'm the blacksmith. I sell horseshoes and swords. You want to still keep it interesting. You want to give your players a reason to talk and get a little invested in the NPCs that they come around.
How do you make sure you're one? I know this isn't on our script, so you might not have an answer for this.
My God, everything is totally organic here. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Well, how do you make sure your story's like still unique and compelling? Because I feel like that'd be really challenging if you're making a lot of one shots to make them something that hasn't already been done. Like, how do you figure out how to write something?
You're describing being a dungeon master, and
yeah. Well, because like I know sometimes when you get like stuck, you'll ask me like a question about like, what do you think of this? And then I'll be like, I don't know, I'll pull from some obscure place in law school. I read a text or something like, here, why don't you put this into it? This was like this weird case we read about. Like,
this is an intelligence check of 23 to uncover details in the legalese. Yeah, no.
Well, like some really like I remember like in law school, we would learn about these really obscure cases that were like, when would that ever happen? But the only way it ever ended up in a case law book is because it did happen. So like,
yeah,
how do you keep it unique where you're not just completely drained?
Well, just describe unique, because my mantra and many DMs' mantra when it comes to storycraft is to steal ruthlessly from the things you love. And I think, well, it's, especially since we're developing these seasonal candles with the hero's journey in mind, there are common themes to stories, and putting your own special twist on it is what will set you apart from the crowd when you're coming up. So coming up with social interactions, like everyone's bullied a shopkeeper before, and a great many of those shopkeepers have turned out to be retired level 20 adventurers for some reason, and X, Y, and Z. There are themes that you can play on, but all you have to do is come up with your own clever twist. That's all you have to do. Like, the bulk of the story has been written somewhere. I'd say for DMs out there that are struggling, pick up a book. Pick up your favorite fantasy book. Look for inspiration anywhere and everywhere. What was it? Earlier today, I was looking at a YouTube short of the latest God of War video game, and I saw a mechanic like climbing up the walls, and there are runes carved in the walls that provide the hand grips. I could incorporate something like that in the dungeon. You know, they pass these stone, and then a stone cutter's check from a dwarf, or with higher wisdom check from a party member might reveal that these are handholds that can be used. So, Caroline, no cheating. Yeah, but
this is why you shouldn't reveal your secrets where your party's listening.
Yes, that is the danger. But that's how you do it, Jess. That's what I'd say: is steal ruthlessly from the things you love and put your own special twist on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I mentioned it before. One shots are a great way to make the world fresh and explorable again. So with exploration, it's the exploration aspect of the one shot is very closely tied to the world building aspects that the DM have to prepare. But again, this is a one shot. You don't need to go into super in-depth detail. You should keep things relatively simple. Have one or two areas that are very well documented, like the town or their base of operations and the dungeon or the neighborhood that they have to go adventure in, or the forest or whatnot. Keep things simple. I cannot stress this enough. We mentioned that new players are going to be involved in more one shots. Players who are testing out new builds or new classes are going to be involved in one shots. Everything is going to take longer than you thought. Everything is going to take longer than you planned for. That's why I struggle, and why so many DMs struggle with developing a one shot that's truly all encapsulated in one session. So don't build the entire world. Build one or two areas. You can have a world as a backdrop, which I'll talk about briefly. But yeah, give them some secrets. Give them like 2 or 3 secrets that they can uncover with good exploration or research done in a library or with the town, brain trust or the gaffer or whatnot. And yeah, that's what I'd have. That's all you really need for a one shot. The final aspect, combat, is very self-explanatory. It's so easy for DMs to just throw 6 combat encounters at a party, and that way they really get to flex their technical muscles with the characters that they've built, or show off what to new players what combat looks like in D&D, which is a very important pillar, but it is one of 3 in my book. I would recommend incorporating more traps and puzzles than you normally would, because traps and puzzles still give agency to players. It still gives them the opportunity to shine based on different characters' strengths and weaknesses, and it goes so much faster than a combat encounter. So making use of those traps, making use of those puzzles is going to pay dividends at the table. So
I think curious about the puzzles now. You said puzzles, and now I'm like,
what? Oh my gosh. Well, definitely.
I feel like that could be a whole gameplay live. I'm just looking at the time, and I'm like, I feel like I want to ask more questions about the puzzles, but
we really could make
like what? Like, here's what I'm wondering: like, what kind of puzzles are good for like a one shot, and what kind are better for a larger campaign? Can there be a puzzle that's spread across the entire campaign? Is that even a thing, or is that more the story? I don't know. So
everything is a thing. If you can imagine it and weave it into the story, then yeah, it's a story. I know that I can't give away too many details, because the campaign that I'm getting ready to take over, it starts off with a deep puzzle that's slowly the puzzle is decoded over the course of the campaign, and there's a number of literal codes that you have to solve. So
feels like the Da Vinci Code or something.
Or something. I tell you, Dan Brown got his notes from me.
Yeah, Dan Brown. Share your millions.
yeah, right. Well, so that's what I wanted to say about that. Now, I will tease here that at gameplaycandles.com, we're going to start a one-shot series. And those one-shots are going to be all based in this one area that I developed just for one shots. Like I mentioned, Steve and I sort of swap back and forth, and we cover each other on certain weeks when we need a break. So I've been doing some one shots for the group, but all taking place in the same setting as the campaign. but I've recently come up with a new setting that I'm going to have just for one shots, just for new characters, even if they want them. But it's going to be taking place in this area that I call the Outset Isles. And as you can see, there's a ton of different locations. There's a lot of things rich for storytelling and whatnot. The most recent one shot took place here at the town of Codrington and in the Greenwood. There's all these different areas that have the potential for just dropping in an adventure. And if you are like me and you struggle with keeping things simple, well, this just having a map with locations is already a really good way to get inspired when you need to quickly come up with a one shot. So, drop them in Somerton next time, and hilarity ensues somehow. Drop them in Orthrak, and you got a different flavor, but still an area ripe for adventuring. But anyway, this will be up on the website shortly, along with outlines of one shots that I've written. And I hope that if you're like me, you find this inspiring and help you come up with some unique adventures.
Awesome.
Yeah. Look, Jess, it's been 31 minutes. My God.
Oh my God, this is the longest one. I'm so sorry. It's probably
You've
me
taken
going
up so
on and
much
on
of
about Heroine's Realm and how I love that we have a feminist scandal. Okay, anyways.
Well, we've taken up enough of these kind people's times. I just plug one more time that we have a 12% discount active at GameplayCandles.com right now to use the code ONESHOT at checkout to get 12% off your entire order. Other than that, we're excited for going live with all of our new seasonal scents next Thursday. Get on the mailing list for Access Wednesday. But yeah, otherwise, next time we all talk, it will be with hopefully sales going on in the background. Who knows?
Well, and people, getting to actually access the candles that we've been talking about for weeks.
That's always a plus.
All right. Bye, y'all.
All righty.